What's going on, everybody? I know this is kind of like I guess you could say a spontaneous live stream, but to be honest, I was meant to do this live stream yesterday. But the reason why I decided not to do one is because Lisa had pretty much announced she was doing one, and I decided, you know what, I didn't want to compete with hers, and I decided to listen in on her live stream yesterday. I'm glad that I did because she had a YouTuber on there by the name of Santi Walden, who I'm subscribed to. He subscribed to me, and I like the information that he gives out, and I like the dialogue that they had with each other. And I actually spoke with Lisa in an email because I had wanted to get in on the panel, but she didn't see the email until after the live stream was over. And she said she is probably gonna have another live stream next week in which I'll be able to collab with her on her channel on that way. But what's going on, Shelly? Shelly, Faith, Cashmere, August, Dallas, Fort Worth, August, and Sonia. Yeah, I'm just coming on here because I haven't done a live stream, on this channel in a few days. As a matter of fact, I can't remember the last time I did one. It was probably about 2 weeks ago. I think it was when I got back from my little trip for my birthday. So it's been about 2 weeks. I would have came on here sooner than I did earlier. I mean, not early, sooner today than I am now. But it was a bad storm that just ran through here. I mean, it was thundering, lightning, raining, and I wasn't sure how my power was going to be. And they said we're under a flood warning until 10:45. So that's why I had to wait a little bit. But I think the storm is pretty much past us because it's real quiet now. Oh, and those of you who haven't done so already, subscribe to my Twitch account, which is another live stream service. Its initial thing was when it first got started was for gaming, but of course, you know, I'm not doing any gaming, and that's just another way for me to live stream. But the setup over there is way different. Some of you have subscribed to my Twitch, by the way, and I shout out to you who have done so, because my thing was I was going to do a live stream today. Well, I actually was going to do one yesterday, but do a live stream between 2 days, one on here and one on Twitch. Now, the reason why I like the Twitch is because of the effects of everything on there. I could do the same thing here on YouTube, but for some reason the server slows everything down. It's like in order for me to do it on here, I need like dual computers, like 2 different computers. Like one screen has the live stream feed on it and the other one has the chat on it, because it's like too much for it to run on one screen or one modem, or however that works. But I left all the information in the description. The Twitch link is all the way at the bottom underneath the live stream link, or the live stream channel which you're on right now. I'm actually glad I had a few days off from my job. I actually usually work on Mondays, but I managed to get Monday off. So basically I have been off from my job since Sunday. So I've been off Sunday, yesterday, today, and I'm off tomorrow. I don't go back until Thursday. So I'm catching up on some much needed rest, I guess you could say. Working at an airport is not the easiest thing in the world, especially around this time of the year when people love to travel a lot. Dallas Fort Worth, I see that you saw the video that I did about Serena Williams and her recent comments involving her dad. What's going on, Megan Brown, the sorceress, Craig J, Artie B Fresh, Cashmere, yo folks. How many of y'all saw the video that I posted up today before that when the one I did about about the black women? Who saw that video? You said, have I worked any concerts lately? The last concert I worked was last month, and it was actually the first concert that I worked this year, and it was the Pink concert. She had 2 shows, and I worked her second show because that was a day off that I had from my other job. I don't know what the next concert I'm gonna work as far as concerts go, but I do know that the Childish Gambino or the Donald Glover concert, his is in September, and I found out that's going to be on the day that I'm off from the airport job. So I actually do plan on working that. When they put the schedule out, I definitely will put down to work that. I've worked a J. Cole concert, Dallas Fort Worth. I worked his concert last year. I forgot when was his concert. I want to say it was in the fall, but I can't remember. I worked his concert. I worked a Kendrick Lamar concert. His concert was really good. I worked Drake last year, and these concerts I'm telling you about these were all last year. Janet Jackson, who was it? Escape, Jay-Z, and it was a couple of others, but those are the ones that I can remember off of the top of my head. Oh yeah, Bruno Mars. I forgot. I worked his concert last year too. So as you can see, my job has some very good benefits. I get to work these events for free and actually get paid to work them. I can't remember the last time I actually paid to go to a concert because of that. Oh yeah, I've worked plenty. I've worked a lot of concerts. I've seen a lot of people. Even the job that I had before working at that one, which was the Warner Theater in DC. If anyone is in DC, y'all know about that location. I remember working the Earth, Wind, and Fire concert, and they put me in the backstage area. So I was able to see. I wasn't in the green room, like the dressing room or anything like that. People always ask me, was I in the dressing room? And I was like, no, I'm not in the dressing room. But I was backstage. And when they came down, they had the little prayer circle and everything. I said, this was just amazing to see legends get ready for a show. And then I was able to watch their entire concert from the side of the show. I felt like I had VIP treatment. And this was before Maurice White had died, but he wasn't in the group because he was so sick that he couldn't perform with the rest of the group. Yeah, Kendrick Lamar is a really good live performer. He's a very good live performer. Like if you never been to one of his concerts, you would enjoy it. You said, was there a concert that I hated? Probably some of the maybe the rock concerts that I really couldn't vibe with. The only I would say the only concert that I say I can enjoy where there was a white artist, and that's because some of their music is actually kind of good, was Ed Sheeran. Because I remember working his concert last year, and his concert was kind of decent. Like he didn't bore me. But like the black concerts, like for all the black artists, for the most part, they pretty much all give good shows unless they just are just absolutely terrible. New Edition, BBD, Johnny Gill, Bobby. Well, I don't know about Bobby Brown. They've been at my job so many times. Like they've had so many concerts that I remember one of the first summer concerts that I worked when I first started working at this job was New Edition. And they had me on the 400 level, which is the highest level you can be at. And man, because I was behind the curtain, so I had no people in my section. I went over to my coworker section, and her And the other people that were sitting there, it was about 10 guests there. We were sitting there dancing and everything. By the time we got up out of there and opened up that curtain, we were sweating like we just got out of the club. New Edition, and it's unfortunate what they're going through right now because they said the group broke up again. I think they said Ralph and Johnny have been kicked out of the group. It's like it's a mess, but they gave a really good performance. Those guys still move and perform. Well, maybe not Bobby. They still move and perform like they did back in the 90s, like they haven't missed a beat, especially BBD. They still got it. The only song I really like by Maroon 5 is Moves Like Jagger. That's like the only song I like by them, to be completely honest, out of their entire catalog. They may have other good songs, but Moves Like Jagger is the only song that I could really like I was able to play on repeat when it first came out. He said kicked out of the group. He said, I don't see how. Well, I don't know. I mean, you never know. If y'all watch that New Edition movie when it came on BET last year, which was probably one of the best biopics I've seen in a while, you can see that New Edition as a group, they were struggling from the jump. Even when they were kids, like you would think that a group that made as many hits as they did and came out with as much timeless and classic music as they have would not have all these problems, but they had a lot of drama going on in their group, in their personal lives, and all of that. And it all pretty much got laid out in that movie. And it probably wasn't even all of that, but they had a lot going on. And it's crazy because when you think of New Edition and all their drama, everybody goes back and say, "Oh, Bobby Brown this, Bobby Brown that." No, every member in that group had issues. Like for example, I did not know that Mike had all. No, was it Mike or was it? Sometimes I start to get these guys mixed up. Was it Mike? Okay, Ricky, Ralph. It wasn't Ralph. One of them, I forget who it was. The one who had a drug problem. It wasn't Bobby. I didn't know he had a drug problem, and I didn't know he almost died. Thank you, Hood Mistress. You said it was Ricky. Okay, yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't know that Ricky had a drug problem like that. When I saw that scene in the movie, I was like, "What?" I was like, "What is going on here?" Like he was throwing up and coughing up blood and everything. I said, "Good thing his wife was there because he probably would have died right there in that bathroom." But all in all, it was good. And speaking of biopics, they're making one now for Bobby Brown. Like this is just a movie just around Bobby Brown's character. Because I think his became in high demand um after that movie was done, and they actually got the same actor who played Bobby Brown in the New Edition one to play Bobby in this one, which I think is good because all the guys did a very good job. They said that they actually sang their own parts, like none of it was lip synced, and the fact that they sounded almost pretty much exactly like the real singers, that was good. And then when they gave New Edition the Lifetime Achievement Award last year at the BET Awards, that performance, probably one of the best performances I've ever seen. I was up in it. I was up in my house just dancing hard as hell. Like I must have burned a few calories after that performance because I just cleared everything out of the room and just started doing the dances as best to my abilities because I don't know like all of the dances, but I did what I could. Craig J said, "Can You Stand in the Rain?" Will always be, of course. That is like that has to be like in the top 5 or top 10 aren't best R&B songs ever created by a group or otherwise. Oh, Dallas Fort Worth. You talking about that Whitney Houston documentary? I think it's like a documentary that they're coming out with. I don't know if I want to see that. Um not I mean, not knocking Whitney Houston, as we all know, Whitney Houston is like one of the greatest voices of all time. I mean, she has the nickname of the voice for a reason. But I don't know how much of it is going to be fabricated and how much of it is going to be real. You know, because I like when documentaries are made on people when they're alive, because the person can give their actual input. When they start to do documentaries on people and they're no longer living, then you have to worry about how much of it is real and how much of it is fake. And you know what I liked about the New Edition biopic is that um it actually exposed a lot of kids of this generation who never knew anything about New Edition to know who they are. Like, this movie propelled them back into the spotlight of the 21st century. Because for a while they just kind of faded into obscurity, and this movie brought them back out. Like, I used to, like, when that movie came out, I saw videos of little kids being recorded where they were doing the dance steps and singing the song. And I'm talking about little kids under the age of 10 who weren't even close to being around when New Edition first got started. Hell, some of their parents probably weren't even around when New Edition got started. So we're probably talking about back in their grandparents' time for some of them. And they were singing the songs and dancing and everything. I remember when I was working my job and they had this little thing called the Wizards concert series, where after certain Wizards games, they would have a certain night. An R&B night, the people who performed was BBD. And you had, and this was after the movie had came out, and you had them up there singing some of the New Edition songs. They called some kids out of the crowd to come sing the songs with them. These kids were singing the songs and getting the steps. They looked like they could have been the new Edition. But you want to know what movie I think is going to be absolutely trash? And I can't believe they even thought about remaking this movie, because it for me did not seem like it deserved to be remade. Is Superfly. I didn't even bother to watch the trailer for that movie, because I ended up seeing the trailer in the theater for the first time when I went to go see a couple of movies, because at that point I had no choice but to voluntarily go and watch it. I was like, I don't know. I remember watching the original one back in the day, and I only watched that once. But this new one, I think I'll pass on that one. Exactly, Hood Mistress. Like, it doesn't look good at all to me. Like, it really doesn't. And I was like, they remaking Superfly? Like, who greenlit this? That was my first question. Who greenlit this? Exactly, Nubian Goddess. But let's just change it, like black exploitation films. Like those movies back then, it was a reason why those particular films were made, but they were made, in my opinion, for that time, for that era. I don't want to see a remake of Superfly or Coffee or what's the other one? I'm trying to think here. They even doing a remake of the Shaft movie. But what I like about the remake of the Shaft movie from the pictures that I saw is that they're bringing in the original Shaft, Sam Jackson Shaft, and of course the original Shaft is Richard Roundtree. The second Shaft, which was Samuel L. Jackson, and the guy who's playing the new Shaft. So in that aspect, I would like to see it to see how they're going to incorporate three generations of that character, three variations of that character, because the Shaft movie has been remade once and now they're doing it again for a third time. It may not even be a remake, it could be something else. I don't know. I have to wait and see a trailer for that before I make my final decision. But as far as that Superfly movie, I'm not interested. Yeah, Dallas Forward, they're coming out with another Shaft movie. I don't know when it's coming out. My guess is it's if it's not by the end of the year, it's probably going to be sometime early 2019. You said, what about Blackula? What about Blackula? I don't know. Let's be real here. The next great vamp. I mean, let's see how many black people have played vampires. Okay, you had Blackula, then you had Eddie Murphy play in Vampire in Brooklyn, and of course we had Wesley Snipes play Blade. Right, they are running out of ideas. Oh yeah, Hood Missions, and of course Aaliyah and Queen of the Dam. How could I forget her? She was the best part of the movie, to be honest. It's a shame that she passed away before she could actually see her performance. Because I actually read somewhere where it said Aaliyah actually was infatuated with sci-fi and mystical arts and stuff like that, and she always wanted to do a vampire style movie where she played a vampire. And to be honest, if you look at her character in that movie, the Akasha character that was her name is actually Egyptian. So visually, they got it right casting a black woman to play that part. And they got the perfect one. I say there's no such thing as the perfect woman as far as looks go, but Aaliyah, she came dangerously close. Like she was at 100%, she was about a 99. Tashawn, I don't think they're gonna remake Queen of the Dam because the movie wasn't good. But I think the reason why the movie got as much money and praise as it did was because Aaliyah's performance and because she died. And I like that she did that because it brought in a new crowd of people who would not watch that movie any other way. Just like when Wesley Snipes did Blade. Like you don't have a lot of black people casting those type of roles, but I know why they do that because they know that it'll bring in a black audience to see something like that they'll never watch regardless. Yes, yo, folks. Yes, Spike Lee does have a movie coming out this summer called Black Klansmen, and it's starring John David Washington, who is Denzel Washington's son. He's on that show Ballers with Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock. And that looked like it's actually going to be good. And it's actually based on a true story for those of you who don't know. And basically, Black Klansman is about a police officer who disguised himself as a white person. Not he didn't throw on white face and go to a meeting, but he disguised himself over the phone as a white man to infiltrate the KKK. And he basically sent his white partner in his place to get information and bring it back to him. And yes, like I said, that actually did happen. Some people are actually shocked and believe that actually something like that happened, but it did. And based on the trailer and what the person who actually did it said, he said everything that's happening in this movie was pretty much accurate. It might be some extra dramatization in there, for dramatic effect, but he said that he was there on the set. He actually gave his input. So that's why I'm glad when they do movies like that, the people who are alive, they can get their input on it, because I feel that I would feel more comfortable that the um the actual story is being told right. Clayton Bigsby. You know what? Ever since that trailer dropped, everybody been talking about Clayton Bigsby. Wouldn't that be crazy though if Dave Chappelle went there dressed as Clayton Bigsby though? That would be some funny shit. Yeah, Tashana, I did do a video about it a while back. I did it when they announced that they were making the movie, and now it's about to happen. So this is like way into last year when I had first talked about it. Yes, I remember Cleopatra Jones. See, I grew up, even though I'm only 29 years old, I grew up in a house where my parents put me onto a lot of old school stuff, and they used to always tell me. And some of y'all parents, depending on how old you are, probably told you the same thing, where they said, like for me back growing up, like in the '90s, I was just a kid, so I used to always want to listen to a lot of the R&B of that time, and even the hip hop of that time, which by the way was way better than what comes out today. Let's just be real here. The '90s was the golden era, but they used to always tell me that you better listen to this music that we grew up on, because you're going to appreciate it later on in life. And as a kid, I kind of just brush it off. Now that I'm older, I completely understand what they mean, because I find myself listening to a lot of old school music. I'll never forget when I was at work and it was slow. I just put my earbuds in, put it on YouTube, and I started playing a lot of old school music from back in my parents' time. I was listening to the Shy Lights. I was listening to the Stylistics. I was listening to Stevie Wonder. Like I would say that I have a very broad catalog as far as the type of music I listen to. Sometimes I have to listen to music like that just to clear my head. And I think I think a reason why I started liking a lot of old school songs was because of the movie Crooklyn. Love that movie. Favorite scene when the dog got stuck in the couch and she was like, Queenie, oh my God, Queenie. Because I remember watching Crooklyn for the first time, and when the movie was coming on, they were playing People Make the World Go Round. And ever since then, I fell in love with that song. That entire soundtrack was nice though. You said your favorite part of Crooklyn was the Soul Train line scene. And the thing is, when I look at movies like that, I always wonder, was I born in the wrong era? Because sometimes I feel like I can relate to the '70s era more than my own, even though I love the '90s and the early 2000s. I really do. I wouldn't trade those times for the world, but I often wonder what that time was like. And that's why I always have discussions with my parents, like, what was it like growing up at that time period? And they usually always tell me it was a good time. You had your moments, but not like today. He said, and my dad and my mother will always say, like, those were just some good times. Like, that's all they can really limit it to. They can say they were just great times to be in. Mona Day, you said Tommy Loren gets a drink thrown at her. Oh, I gotta see this. I hope it's on video. I hope there's a video to this. Oh, you said that you just watched the video. Oh, I gotta investigate that. Yeah, I would say that I have an old soul. I would say that I do. And I'm not ashamed of that. I'm really not. Already be fresh. I was just talking about that when the dog got stuck in the couch and it popped out. The dog was folded like an accordion. I laughed so hard when I first saw that scene. And when the movie came out, I was on like 5 years old, so I didn't understand it, what was going on. But when I got older and I saw that scene again, I laughed so hard. Like I was doing like the evil laugh. Like I had tears in my eyes and everything. Okay, I'm looking at it right now. It says that she was at brunch at a restaurant in Minneapolis over the weekend, and they said a critic had tossed a drink at her. Um, it says leaning over a table, apparently in the middle of a heated exchange with a fellow patron, and it said a woman. It showed a video of a woman throwing a drink at her as she walked out of the restaurant. Hold on, I'm about to. I'm I clicked on the hopefully the video plays. Okay, I see it. Okay, so basically, what happened is, and the thing is, the woman who threw a drink on her was a white woman. It was a white woman. It was, and it looks like water that she threw on her. I don't know. It's clear, but it's in a cup. It could be some kind of alcoholic drink. And basically, as Tommy Loren was walking out of the restaurant, the woman had took her cup and just flung the drink at her as she was walking out. Spirit of Justice, you said, did I hear about the Sharita Dixon Cole raped by the cop in Texas? No, I didn't hear about that. When I hear about cops raping women, especially black women, all I could think about is Dirty Dick Danny, Holt's Claw. That's the immediate person that comes to mind when I think about stories such as that. As a matter of fact, in my podcast, I had talked about in Kansas where they said they have made it illegal for cops to have sex uh with whoever they pull over on the job. And I'm like, you mean that actually was legal in the state of Kansas? Well, it's Kansas. But the fact that that was even legal, basically they were saying how they would have sex with the people in order to get out of if they wanted to get out of a traffic violation or getting a ticket or going to jail. You said, ever heard of a group called Brighter Side of Darkness? I can't say that I have. But yep, Tommy Loren had a drink thrown on her. It's very quick, like in the clip. It's a reposting from a Snapchat video, and it's only 2 seconds long. Like as she's walking out, the woman just flings that. She just gets up and just flings that drink on her. The only thing I hate is that the woman didn't throw the glass at her, because that would have had a bigger impact. Because it was she had it in a glass cup. You said the cop stuck his fingers in her private parts and bottom. Who has seen that movie Crash? When I hear stuff like that, it reminds me of that scene where Terrence Howard and Tandy Newton's character get pulled over and he starts groping her under her dress. That's when you said that. That's what that reminds me of. He said, "What about Andy Cohen staying on White Code when he reiterated Kim's lame ass comment about being ganged up on?" I don't watch anything with that guy because he's just a natural. He just seems to me to be a natural shit starter. You said it's rough out here for a racist saltine queen. Yep. And you want to know what's so crazy? Tommy Loren, people like Tommy Loren and Richard Spencer have all this stuff to say about black people, whether they say it overtly or covertly, but it's white people who look like them who are doing this stuff to them. I'm glad y'all sent me this clip. You know what? As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go see if I can find it and y'all can watch it and we can leave that thing on repeat because it's kind of hard to not turn it off. So y'all can see for yourself what happened. Let me see if hopefully I can find the same exact link to the one I'm looking at right now.
Coda. Why didn't you tell the world what you were doing during my entire Fox and Friends hit?
Okay, so I pulled it up. I'm about to play it for y'all so y'all can see hold on. Okay, can y'all see it? That's what I said, Nubian Goddess. She should have threw the glass at her. And it doesn't even look like it was a lot of stuff in the it was a lot in the glass, but then again, looks can be deceiving. And I think in another video it showed that Tommy Loren had went over and confronted the woman about it, but that woman looked like she wanted to lean over that table and beat her again, like really get in Tommy's face. I'm gonna leave this up here because I might do a commentary about that. Anytime I can speak ill of the Saltine Queen is a good thing for me. Unfortunately, no, Dallas Fort Worth, she didn't throw the glass at her. But she gave her a much needed shower because I'm guessing Tommy probably didn't bathe that day. So maybe we can say that she was giving Tommy a bath. That's what she was doing. Marcel, this woman has saw Tommy Loren at this restaurant and she threw water on her. She was giving her a whole bath. That's what she was giving her, a whole bath. Ashton Lewis, I haven't really gotten a chance to sit and actually watch the entire thing of Blackula. For some reason, whenever it was on, I always called it the same part, which was towards the end. Marcel let that witch burn. Well, unfortunately, she didn't melt. Unfortunately. Chris said if she didn't take a, even if she did take a bath, she still must smell like sour milk. Yeah, for some reason when white people in particular get wet, they really do smell like wet dog. I used to always be like, is that even true? And if it is, I don't know if I want to be that close to them to find out if that theory is indeed correct. But it is true. Most of them do smell like a wet dog, which doesn't surprise me one bit, seeing as how most of them have dog fur on their body. All right, Tashana, thanks for stopping by. I remember one time I had said that on Twitter a couple years ago. And man, this white girl got so mad that I said that. She was ready to jump through the screen and probably screech in my face when I said that. I'll never forget it. And the thing is, I wasn't even talking to her. I was having a discussion with somebody else, and she just hopped herself into our mentions, into our conversation, and got mad about that. She probably called me all kinds of N words behind the screen. She didn't say it on screen because I would have dealt with her online had she went there. You said they have lice in their heads like fleas on a dog. You know what's so funny? Who remembers back in the day, and probably those who are maybe 70s babies, 80s babies probably remember when white kids in particular had to be out of school because they had to get tested for lice. It was only them that would have to be out of school for that. The only thing black people can get is dandruff flakes. That's about it. But when it comes to that lice, oh, that is strictly the colonizers' problem. You said, did I see all the pale devils on Twitter calling Megan nigga on Saturday? Sure. Dallas Fort Worth. I didn't have honestly, I dodged that whole wedding thing on Saturday. The only thing I really acknowledged on Saturday that didn't really unfortunately get acknowledged by many people, especially black people, was it was Malcolm X's birthday. And if they called her that, it doesn't surprise me. They've been calling her that for the longest. She said, Nikki said they used to check us for lice too, just to not make the white kids feel bad. And they didn't find anything. The first, I'm trying to think, when did white person probably first appear in school? The first time I think I probably had a school that had went to a school where it had white kids in it was high school. But it wasn't a majority white school though. It was a majority black school. And the way that I knew, and the thing is, I saw all the white kids who went to that school. You know why? How I knew? Because when we would have lunch, they pretty much all designated themselves to one table. Where black students could be scattered everywhere amongst the cafeteria, they were huddled mostly at just one table. And at that one table was where pretty much all the white kids in that school were at. Marcel, you said Malcolm X deserves a statue just as much, if not more, than MLK. I'm surprised Malcolm X has streets and schools named after him. To be honest, he doesn't have a statue. They probably like, oh, that's going too far. We don't need this kind of symbolism. But I'm surprised that he has schools and streets named after him. Honestly. You said, did anyone see Chris Crazy House video on the royal wedding? Did I watch that? I've seen so many people give commentaries about it, and I think I did. I might have. If I did, it probably was yesterday. Like I said, I've seen a lot of people give their perspective about it. Like quite a few people did, and pretty much everyone went back to the same consensus that we just didn't care. You said Black Twitter needs to be shut down. There's too many coons there. Well, Black Twitter is not. How can I put it? Black Twitter is not really like It's not a separate Twitter account, like or a separate Twitter platform. It's just a. I guess you could say an entity within a platform. So it's going to be kind of hard to even shut Black Twitter down unless they just say, "Oh, you can no longer use the hashtag Black Twitter." I remember last year they tried. This article came out where they said they wanted to do a study about Black Twitter like it was a person or some kind of an object. I said, how do you do a study on a hashtag? They always trying to experiment on Black people like we some lab rats. Okay, Pinky. Now I remember. Yeah, I remember now. When you said he opened it up with a song, now I do remember. He sang a song that was almost in the key of "She's My Queen to Be" from Coming to America. Yeah, that was funny. That was funny. You said he doesn't have a holiday either. We don't need to give him he doesn't have to have a government designated holiday. Like I said, his birthday is his day. So when his birthday came around last week, I posted up a picture of the X symbol. I put the Black Power fist in the middle of the X, and I said, "Happy Malcolm X Day." We don't have to wait for the government to actually uh, designate him a day. We'll give him a day. And that can be a day that's just celebrated by us. Cause let's be real, it's not you ain't gonna find the colonizer celebrating Malcolm X. I can't think of one that would even want to mention his name. He said we need to ensure that Colin Kaepernick never goes broke like we did Malcolm. In this day and time, hopefully, I think Colin Kaepernick has his finances in order. I think he knows what he's doing as far as finances go. They hope that he goes broke. They want him to go broke. Do you know how many of them colonizers keep saying, "Oh, he's not working now. I guess now he can go work at McDonald's and stuff like that." I read them comments. I said the man he's good. Like if you look up his net worth, he's good. He's fine. Financially, he's good. And that's all about just being smart with your money. Marcel said that's Black Twitter's new name, the Butter Biscuit Brigade. He said a Nat Turner. Okay, let me give y'all a little backstory on what happened when I went to Hampton, Virginia 2 years ago. And if I still had my old channel, you would be able to see this video. When I reached 1,000 subscribers on my original channel, I went down to Hampton, Virginia, to the Nat Turner insurrection. I was able to go and see where they kept a lot of white folks at when they started the rebellion, which they unfortunately did not. I don't think they showed that in the movie. Someone had pointed that out to us when we was there. We went to the jail or the prison, which is now a prison or a jail or a courthouse, where Nat Turner was tried and convicted and hanged. I saw that. I even saw the plantation field where the rebellion actually happened, and of course where Nat Turner lived pretty much all his life up into his death. When I tell you that was such an eye-opening experience, like I was determined to go and see that. Like I spent the last month doing as much research on that area as possible, like finding out the coordinates, the location, all of that, because I wanted this to be perfect. And I went down there and saw it. That insurrection is about 10 miles away from the North Carolina state line. I didn't realize it was that close to North Carolina. You said, "Do I have picks?" Do I? Do I? I might. I'm not entirely sure. I think I do have a I think I do have a picture. As a matter of fact, if I can find it, I'll put it up on here so y'all can see it. You said, did I ask what's my 30 acres and the mules? No, I didn't ask that. Okay, y'all are in luck. I found a picture of me at the insurrection. I'm about to pull it up now. Hold on. Let me know if y'all can see it. And this was July 27th, 2016. And it was hot that day too. Like it was really hot. Yep, this is where I went when I reached 1,000 subscribers on my original channel, because that was actually my plan. I said when I reached 1,000 subscribers on my channel, I wanted to go see the Nat Turner insurrection because I knew it was in Hampton, Virginia. And as you can see by the date, this was before. This is actually before Birth of a Nation came out, and this was before the whole scandal kicked off. Unfortunately, yes, that's in Southampton County, Nikki. You said you got one in New York named after Nat Turner. That's good. That's dope. And if you can, like, you can't read the entire thing, but that's basically talking about what happened during the rebellion. Like it says, the 21st to the 22nd of August of 1831, which is when it happened. He pissed everyone off, Ashton. That boy pissed everyone off, and I hope he died in that war, which I'm sure he probably did. Yeah, so that's something that y'all were able to see that some of you didn't have never got a chance and opportunity to see. It's funny you say that, Dallas Fort Worth, because I think it was 2 years ago when I was looking through the calendar and I saw on June 19th that Juneteenth was actually on the calendar. I had to look at it again to make sure that I didn't write it in, and I looked and I was like, this calendar actually acknowledged Juneteenth. I was shocked. It actually shocked quite a few people because I didn't expect them to acknowledge that day at all. But yeah, you're right. We need to create our own holiday calendar. And I'm very sure that if you go to maybe like a one of those black owned bookstores or coffee shops that sell calendars, they most likely have an African based or theme centered calendar that will have our own holidays in them, even if they're not authorized by the government. Nikki said, I'm working on one right now. Cool. He said, Bob Marley was a threat by the con. Of course he was. When you start drifting off and doing your own thing, you start revealing that truth, and you are and they are your handlers, and your handlers don't like it, they'll find a way to get rid of you. Thank you, Sonia. Oh, and speaking of black owned stuff, who remembers that video that Lisa just did on her channel where they were talking about like the natural products like the mouthwash and the toothpaste and the tooth powder? I actually did purchase that mouthwash and that tooth powder the same day that she did that video, and my stuff came the exact next day. And the reason being because the company is based out of DC, and I live about 5 minutes away from the DC line, but it's shipped out of I think Fort Washington, Maryland, or somewhere around that area. So I was able to get it the next day. I have been using that stuff every single day, and I freaking love it. The name of the company is called, hold on. The name of the company is called Handmaid's Garner's Garden. I'm gonna stay on here to probably about 7:30. Like I said, I wasn't expecting this to be a long live stream, but I just wanted to come on here because I haven't been on here in a while. If you haven't hit the like button, make sure you hit the like button.
The stuff now as sort of issues as far as the big standards really was seen was raising money without tax and that sort of thing. For that appeal was I'm the only one who's not raising tax on that kind of thing. Like
That was he said the Playboy chick. Do you think she was murdered? Um, some people are saying that she was murdered. Others are saying that she committed suicide. Either way, I think what frustrated me the most in that video was the fact that the child died in the process. I think that's what probably frustrated me the most. I don't know if she was murdered or not. I did hear later on after I did the video that, of course, I said that they had a custody battle, and it said that the father had won full custody, probably because of his status. And I'm like, if she was murdered and the dad got full custody, why would he kill the child? That actually makes me believe even more that she probably committed suicide. Nubian goddess, yeah, I'm glad that you caught the live stream as well. Okay, I wanted y'all to see my Twitch page. I just pulled it up right here because some of you probably have never seen it. In the top right corner where it says watch now, most recent video, that's the one that I did like to kick off, and it says grand opening right there on the on the side. That was the first video that I did, and I think I did it on, I want to say Sunday. I can't, no, it couldn't have been Sunday. Maybe it was sometime last week. I can't remember what day it was. But yeah, that's my Twitch account, and I do plan on going live via Twitch again, most likely on tomorrow, because I want to switch it up, since it seems like I might have two different audiences. I might have a Twitch audience and a live stream and a Google Hangout audience, but I might have a combination also of both. So you can actually see what it looks like here. Like I said, the link is in the description. It's the last one in the description. You can go over there and subscribe. Like I've seen some people from over here who have subscribed, True Royal Family being one of them. That's what he said. Under the sign of thought comes on this. So yeah, it's a lot. You'll be surprised by how many people use that use the Twitch app. I never thought I was going to use it until I saw a few YouTubers actually use it, and I like how you can actually kind of design your own little space or whatever, and that's kind of like what I did. But if you head on over there, you can actually see what I did to it to actually make mine be my own thing instead of like on Google Hangouts. It's kind, everyone's kind of looks the same unless you use the same interface over here, which you can do. But on the Hangout, I kind of like to keep it simple, but on there, I want to become a little bit more creative. You said Twitch is full of racists too, can't escape them. Well, you're right about that. Well, I haven't encountered any racists over on Twitch, and I can say yet, but I just try to steer clear of them. I don't go looking for them, but for some reason they come looking for us. All right, y'all. I think I'm about to get up off of here. I'm glad that I was able to communicate with y'all today. At first, I was like, I hope this rain does not hinder me from going live, but the storm has finally passed us. Probably it's been gone for maybe about a good 30-40 minutes now. But I'm glad that I was able to come on here and talk with y'all. What's going on in Mitch? And like I said, if I do go live again, it'll be on the Twitch platform, which you see right here on your screen. It may be around the same time as this one today, probably around 6 or something like that, and I'll get on there too. And see, on the Twitch app, on the platform, you'll be able to see my face. So if you haven't done so already, you can go ahead and subscribe or sign up and subscribe over there, because that's where I'll be at tomorrow most likely. And I guess I'll just talk to you then. And of course, in my videos as well, because of course there's going to be more videos to come. There's always videos to come on my main channel. But I will talk to y'all later, and y'all have a good rest of your day.